How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
Season's getting harder and harder if you're a Super Kings fan. Bowled out with 1 ball to spare at 154. But for Devil Brevis and his 42 on CSK debut, it could have been much worse. Sunrisers would take that, you'd think, even though the last wicket stand extended the duration of that innings. But it is a conversation we will still have on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Aaron Finch, Varun Aaron, Dustin Silgardo. I really don't know what to start with. What do you say about such an innings? Finchy, try.
Well, it was hard to get momentum into the innings, wasn't it? Early wicket, that always sets you on the back foot. Sam Curran just couldn't quite get going. Dwalt Brevis, he showed some real fight and aggression, particularly against the spin. But every time they looked like trying to form a partnership, they just got out.
What's the biggest takeaway for you watching that hard innings with the bat from CSK?
I think you should also give credit to the SRH bowlers. They exploited the wicket to the maximum, knew how to bowl on the conditions, assess the conditions quickly, and didn't take too much time in changing their plans because Dewalt Brevis was going really well, and even with the way MS was promising to bat, stepping out to a spinner, which he generally doesn't do, and attacking a spinner second ball, they were in a mood today, but it didn't work out for them.
What did you notice?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to know what to say because, I mean, CSK's issue all season has been batting intent, and today the intent, it looked like it would be there early, but then it wasn't. I mean, their batting aggressive shot percentage was about the same as it's been all season. But then every time they did look to play an attacking shot, somebody got out. So what do you really do in that situation? The only thing is, I mean, I thought the decision to bring Jadeja in at number 4 was a bit strange. That kind of let SRH then bowl their spinner straight after the power play. And by the time Dubey had come in, they had bowled already 21 balls of spin. The whole idea of Dubey is that he attacks the spinners. He barely got to face any spin.
You see, this is a team that is, for good reason, at the bottom too, because in the 9th or 10th game, you're still not quite sure what your ideal batting order is, what your ideal entry points are for batters.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's leading into a season. You should have a rough outline of what your best, probably 12 or 13 players are when you're trying to mix and match a combination. So the fact that they've turned through so many players so quickly as well just shows that players aren't in form. They're probably not playing the right game style either. And like you said, just the tactical move to send Jadeja, which gives you some free overs. It just allows the Sunrisers bowlers to be able to bowl on their own terms, to be able to map out their 20 overs with a lot more ease.
We have questioned the Sunrisers bowling at times, not just their batting failures. Does their bowling have the incisive nature or the teeth to actually make inroads? What sort of surface was this? We saw a lot of ball wiping right from the 8th or 9th over. From what you've seen of the Sunrisers today, how much credit to bowlers getting wickets, though we feel like it's all about CSK just not looking the part?
See, look, Sunrisers bowling will always look really good when the opponent is attacking them overly, because I feel they're a very defensive bowling unit. If you leave Shami aside, even Pat Cummins in white ball cricket, he mostly bowls very defensively, bowls a lot of into the wicket cutters and stuff like that. So when the opponents are going hard, that's when you'll see the best of SRH, because a lot of their bowlers bowl a lot of cutters. Harshal Patel, Jaydev Unadkat, that's their game. But overall, I feel Dubey has just not turned up this IPL, because before, if he would struggle against fast bowlers. When I say fast, I mean 140, 145 plus. But Jaydev Unadkat bowling a few length balls to him, which is clearly the plan, and him miscuing that eventually was not something you generally see from him, because he would tonk like the medium pacers out of the ground.
I don't think it's a good wicket.
Yeah.
I think it's an average wicket. So early, couple of balls bounce, a couple skid and skid through a bit lower. There was a touch of turn. This will not be an easy chase.
Really?
Won't be an easy chase.
I mean, I thought you took that ball in hand for the show thinking, oh, it's so much fun to bowl to the CSK batters in this form that you're itching to have a bowl.
No. It's a hard game. T20 is hard. And we're being critical on small decisions that people make on the field. And that's hard to do, and it's hard to get right, particularly when your back's against the wall and you might need to play in a style that's it doesn't come 100% natural to you. But I still think it'll be a difficult chase.
Just picking up on Dubey, I think it's ironic that he still might be CSK's best batter this season. At least in terms of runs. I mean, slim pickings with their form.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Dubey is they don't like to play him in the power play at all. I was just looking, in his entire CSK career has played only 9 balls in the power play. So it's one of those cases where they've just kind of decided he can't do that, so they don't bring him in early. But then sometimes, like what happened today is you had Brevis and Jadeja come in, and then he was held back. But by that time, as I said, all his good matchups had kind of gone, and then they could bowl the seamers to him.
Zishan had that catch dropped off Jadeja at the over before. So you say if that's taken, I think it was Harshal Patel dropped a dolly at long off. If that's taken, then Dubé comes in earlier against the spin and he might be able to make a difference. So that's difficult to make any sense
But when
of
it comes to the CSK batting, there are slim pickings because before this game, except MS Dhoni, I mean, amongst all the batsmen who've played 8 games, MS Dhoni is the only batsman who scored at a strike rate more than 150.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, which in today's T20 scenario is almost an unmentionable.
It seems like they could have done with a player like Brevis from the start of the season for whatever it's worth. 168 strike rate, 4 sixes. That's what was missing, Brevis.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just different. He provides a different challenge for a bowling attack. You know that he's coming hard from the start. He's got a beautiful swing. He can take on spin early. He's not afraid to get after the pace either. And so just a dynamic player in that role in the middle order. Whether he should bat 3 and continue to try and maximise the power play, that's a different conversation. But yeah, definitely need a player like him in there.
They never went for this kind of player though, because you've seen 4 sixes of Brevis today, and I think that's 6 sixes in the innings. So he's had 4 himself, 2 of the other side, and we've heard these comments from MS, from Gaikwad, from Fleming, that we're not a 6-hitting team, we have different ways of doing it, but it's a 6-hitting game.
It is a 6-hitting game, and they obviously, I think they've got their backs to the wall. They're having to be forced to say things like that to save their own face, because at the moment nobody's hitting 6s for them, and MS above all is a 6 hitter. So him saying that is a bit odd.
And the thing is, I think this over that he took for 20 runs, there was one over, that's only the second over this season that they've taken 20 runs in. And what usually happens is, like Jadeja hit a 6 off the first ball in 1 over, I think, but then it goes straight back to, okay, we've hit a 6, now singles for the rest of the over. You talked about Dhoni attacking that first ball, but then the rest of that over was all singles. Brevis was the one guy who said, okay, I've hit a 6 early in the over, now let me take the whole over down, and then he hit 3 sixes, I think, in that over.
Harshal Patel, I think that's 14 or 13 wickets now this season for Harshal among the replacements that they did make, and we have had this conversation before, is Harshal an improvement on an Natarajan and Shami on Bhuvi, whether they actually improved their bowling resources or not? Would you say Harshal's actually been one of their better picks this season?
Harshal has been one of the most wicket-taking bowlers over the last 3 seasons of the IPL. I think he has most wickets.
Purple cap, I think, last year as well for Harshal.
So he's been getting wickets in the bucket load, and especially on a track like this, you would definitely back Harshal, especially when he's landing his slowers at the right length. The previous game, I don't think he was bowling slower balls, but he never landed them on length. But when he starts getting that dip on length, it's very difficult to hit Harshal Patel.
I think this is the context we were talking about when it came to the Sunrisers and their luck at the toss. I think only 2 games before this were there actually, either were they bowling first or they had enough runs to bowl with. Was that a better example of what the Sunrisers bowling can look like?
Yeah, it's early wickets, isn't it? It's Shami back into the team. I know he's been going around the park, but you know what you're going to get every day from Shami, from Pat Cummins. I mean, I think Pat was still 2 for 21 there. I think his first over went for 12 or 13 as well. So to then bowl 3 overs, a couple in the power play for not many, it just proves a couple of things. It's players who know their skills and know when to use them, and then the lack of intent with the bat.
And it was the 4th time Harshal's got Dhoni out in the IPL. I think that's 3rd highest among all bowlers. So that's a good matchup for him as well.
Do you know the top 2?
I think there's some strange ones in there. I think Pragyan Ojha has got Dhoni out 6 times, so it's going back a bit. And then I forget who's number 1, but I think it may be one of the more established. No, I think it's one of the most. I'll look it up while you ask somebody else.
Narayan could be up there, yeah.
Or Varun Chakravarti. I don't know if he's bowled as much.
No, he wouldn't have played enough.
Yeah, so you have to think of it. Come on, Dustin, we'll get this in before the show.
I'll tell you. Oh, Zahir Khan is the answer. 7 dismissals of Dhoni.
That surprises me actually. But anyway, that's going back a while. Right. Why are you saying that this? Okay, before we go to the chase, Kamindu Mendes' catch. Actually, Kamindu Mendes is an enigma. Bowls right arm ambidextrous and left arm spin, but does it spin?
No. No. Doesn't spin. He got Jadeja with a Jadeja. That's what his done that for 15 years. He's tried to bowl it at the top of middle and off stump, and that's exactly what he did to Jadeja himself. Doesn't spin it, but he lands it pretty well.
Yeah.
It must be hard to mentally get your head around.
The whole concept of matchups is that the spinner will turn the ball away, making it more prone to a wicket if he goes across the line. Same with the left arm orthodox to the righty. But when it's not spinning at all, I mean, I'm just trying to think of how does the matchup even work? Like,
It's the angle.
It's the angle. But in T20 cricket, you see even off spinners. They do, like even Ashwin. If you see throughout this season, he's hardly bowled any off spinners. Even to the lefties, he's been firing it and bowling a lot of those carom balls. But he's just not bowled any off spin.
okay. On Ashwin, Kamboj, the right choice of impact sub given the due. I mean, they were desperate, but they could have gone Ashwin if they wanted someone to just get some runs in the last few.
I think they've gone early wickets because I think what can really save this match for them is early wickets and then pressure through the middle. They will obviously back Noor to land it on a length. Again, Noor is somebody who, if you put him under pressure in the first couple of balls, he starts bowling short just to save the over, which they wouldn't want.
Now let's get into why you said this may not be an easy chase.
Well, with the dew coming in heavily, that definitely favours SRH. But I just think that there was enough in the wicket, enough inconsistency in the wicket for it to provide a challenge with the new ball. But seeing the amount of dew towards the end, maybe it skids on and they get away to a flyer and then they can really try and put the foot down. But
we know how the Sunrisers will come out.
Yeah, but if they lose one or two again
Blocking.
early, if they come one or two again early, there'll be a few queries through that batting lineup.
What would you be telling them? Would you be telling Travis and Abhishek, yeah, this is game's there, 150 chase, let's get it done? Or that whole thing of, yeah, I mean, the other guys are not in form, why don't you guys take it easy, let's go wicketless in the power play, that sort of game?
Never put any kind of doubt like that in players' minds, particularly during a game. If it's a tactical plan and you can give them a couple of days to try and get their head around playing a slightly different style, no problem. But never do it at the halfway point of a game. What you do is you say, back your plan, back your process. This is the way that you want to play. This is what you said your matchups and your strengths are. Then go and do it.
I actually agree with Finchy because, and I think that's
Thank you. That's rare for you.
That's very rare. I think that's what you can see in this team lineup as such. I think Dan Vittori has been like, you know what, we believed in you guys to take us through it. This is a crunch game. We aren't going to make much changes to the batting order. You guys do the job for us.
You said they've never won at the Chepauk, right?
Yeah. They haven't won yet.
A few teams hadn't won in a while.
Historic season, isn't it? Right. And we know that they can change the ball if with the dew, which is not now the first game, I think, this season where there could have been an argument for should the ball change also be afforded to the first innings. And I know that the question was asked of the BCCI or the IPL Governing Council, and I think an explanation that came through from a source was nobody asked for it. None of the franchises thought it was important enough to bring this rider in that even the first innings there should be an option to change the ball. Did it seem like it was heavily affected by dew, that first innings? I saw a bigger towel than I've ever seen from Kamindu Mendes.
I don't think it.
Can you tell? Hard to tell with the batting, I guess.
I don't think it was that much, especially when there were so many wickets down already. There was not much of a threat from the CSK batting lineup towards the end when the dew was evident.
All right, I'll come back to that at the end of the game. Let's see how much of a part it plays, how this wicket looks when the Sunrisers bat on it. Before I wrap up though, out of 10, how would you rate Kamindu Mendes' catch, which was going to either his right side or his wrong side? I'm not sure.
7.
When he took that. 7 for Finchy.
He was out of position. He was out of position and then that made him have to dive. And
Good man, I like it. Tough taskmaster.
I'm going to give it 10.
10?
10?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
He has smoked that. Okay.
Jeez, I'd like you to coach me.
Yeah, I definitely give him 10 for that. Come on.
What are you giving it,
Be
Raunak?
a little fair on the...
That's fair. 7's fair.
7's fair?
He was out of position. Was it Brevis?
Yes.
Brevis was trying to hit a 6 every ball at that stage. Chepauk's not a big ground. Why are you 10 yards off the boundary?
We're not.
If you're back on the boundary,
We're
takes
talking
a couple of steps
about
around
the catch, not what happened before the catch.
Well, he's putting that into his calculation,
Exactly
and his
right.
assessment.
Yeah.
So you're saying 7, you're saying 10. I'll tell you what I say in the second.
I'll
since you've
just
asked.
go right in between them, 8.5.
8.5. I'm going to lean towards Finchy and give it in fact a 6.
What?
Yeah, because good catch. But I'm a tough task. 10 is what Karan Pollard took when they had no right to take a catch, or Chris Lynn took when there was again.
So you're saying that's
so
not
much against
the
It's a great catch.
of the IPL yet?
The catch of the IPL yet. I think Ramandeep took a really tough catch, running backwards. full stretched early on in the season. That's still
Yeah, I
right
remember
up
that
there
catch.
for
That was a
me.
good catch, yeah.
Yeah.
Could be in the
Would you give that
conversation.
one 10 as well?
Yeah.
Would you like to revise today to 9?
I'll just come down maybe 9. Because Finch is giving me those looks on the side.
Okay, quick predictions from all three of you. How do you see the second innings finally closing out? Dustin?
I'll say they chase it in 17.3.
Oh, so it's not going to be as quick as Sunrisers normally
Chase
can
it in
go.
the 18th over.
18th over, right?
I know I said it won't be an easy chase. I'm going 14.1.
14 points.
Finch sold us down the river. Now changed his
They're going to blow it
prediction.
out of the water. Trevor Shake turns up tonight. Let's see.
All right. And on that note, while we leave you and look forward to your company for our post-match analysis, where one of these teams will certainly find it hard now, almost impossible to make the playoffs, the one that drops points, I also want to tell you that we are going to give you a first look at what one of our Crickcaster finalists are up to. Ashwin Menon caught up with Devendra Prabhudesai, cricket author and operator of a unique cricket-based heritage tour in Mumbai. He, of course, is one of our 4 finalists of ESPN Cricket for Crickcaster, powered by Nexa. Once you have a look at that, we will see you at the end of the game for Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout.
Ready for it.
Thrilled for it.
Presenting France with Turbo Booster Jet Engine.
Nexa.
Cricket in Mumbai is woven into the city's soul. And today, I'm on a short but special journey with someone who's chronicled some of cricket's most extraordinary stories. An avid historian who's not just preserving cricket's history, but has also lived through some of its greatest moments. I'm joined today by Mr. Devendra Prabhudesai. Sir, thank you so much.
Good evening. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming, sir. For those of you who don't know, Mr. Prabhudesai has been manager, media relations and corporate affairs with the BCCI. And he's also been a biographer to legends since 2018. You've started this very unique initiative, Cricket Heritage Walk.
Now, the unique bit about this Cricket Heritage Walk is that it can probably only happen in Mumbai as far as India is concerned. The walk begins at the Azad Maidan and it ends at the main gate of the Wankhede Stadium. So I take the people, the group through 150 years of cricketing history, just doing my bit to acquaint people with
Lovely,
the
sir.
past.
So yes, that was Mr. Devendra Prabhudesai, sir. Thank you so much, guys. This is, like I said, we are at the cradle of Mumbai cricket, and this is Ashwin signing off for ESPN Cricket 4.
How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.